Week 8, ChesCo Gridiron Insider Faithful. Thanks for joining us. We have highlights with a couple of huge upsets. Pete interviews Malvern's head coach Dave Guerrera, and the Insider guys break down Malvern's offense and defense to get you ready for Friday night's big showdown with Hereford School visiting Malvern Prep with Interact title implications. Some shocking predictions right after. And of course, we want to get things started. Excited to go. But first, let's hear from the home of ChesCo Gridiron Insiders at Studio One. Highlights of this week's games are brought to you by Studio One, the home of ChesCo Gridiron Insiders for our inaugural season. Studio One also houses Sports Vault. Sports Vault is your premium provider of sports-related autographed and non-autographed merchandise. Sports Vault is the leader in licensed sports memorabilia, novelties, trading cards, and custom framing. Sports Vault is located at 520 East Lancaster Avenue in Downingtown, Pennsylvania. We are always looking to add sponsorship and join our family here at ChesCo Gridiron Insiders. This week, we are adding a Player of the Week segment, and pretty soon we may add an Upset of the Week that you can sponsor. Just send an email to and we can set you up with the sponsorship package of your choice.
We're going to start our highlight package here with Oxford at Avon Grove. Oxford has the ball deep in Avon Grove territory at the 14-yard line of the red, 19-yard line, 15-yard line, excuse me. Joel McLean's going to go up the middle for a 15-yard TD run to open the scoring. But Avon Grove's going to answer here is backup quarterback Nate Mortar. You see here is going to hit Sebastian Binstead on a spot screen, and Binstead splits the Hornet defense. Nice play for a 19-yard score.
I spoke to Joe Coffey after the game, and he said he felt like Mortar handled himself pretty well.
Yeah.
For his first varsity start.
Sophomore, right, Coach?
Yes.
Okay, Oxford with the ball here. They're third and long, but they're going to pick it up as Aiden Kane, who's been throwing the ball well, finds Nate Winters for the long reception. Comes Oxford with the ball on the 25-yard line of Avon Grove. And we're going to see Joel McLean again. He's going to score the winning touchdown with his second score of the night as Oxford prevails over Avon Grove 17-14.
It's funny. It's a different formation. I talked to Coach Means, and they ran the same sprint draw that they beat Westchester East with. It was just out of a different formation. So kudos to Oxford. Really helps their playoff. And unfortunately, I think that really damages Avon Grove's chances of getting in.
Yeah, they're in trouble now. Okay, we're here at Kennett Unionville on a Saturday night. We get a sense of how this game's going to go right from the opening kickoff as Aiden Rich takes the ball 40 yards in the Longhorn territory. Rich is having a really nice year, Coach.
Yeah, once they got him back, things really started to turn around for them.
Unionville's defense holds, but with starting quarterback Tommy McGinnis sidelined by injury, Kennett's defense takes advantage. Here you're going to see Andrew Sharpetta blitz and takes down Brody McLaughlin for the sack. As Kennett, asserts himself early.
Nice play.
And here we are early in the second period, and the Blue Demons open the scoring here. You're going to see Garrett McCracken throws a pretty 20-yard fade to Connor Schumacher. Schumacher's a big 6'6" kid, good basketball player also. Okay, this is the conversion. Point after snap here. It's going to be some trouble. You see here the snap is botched, but holder Hunter Taylor remains calm and scores the 2-point conversion, and it's 8-0 Kennett. Okay, Unionville with their ball at their own 49-yard line. McLaughlin gets Unionville on the scoreboard. Oh, no, this is
he's picked.
A pick by the Blue Demon. Make a big play here as Taylor picks off McLaughlin, returns the ball deep into Unionville territory.
Kennett looks like they're in business up. Ooh, Kennett's up 8-7.
Yeah,
driving.
Aiden Rich is going to convert the turnover into points on the very next play. So he goes in from 19 yards out. 15-7 Kennett at this point.
Shifty run there.
Rich, a nice player. Second half action here. Kennett with the ball again. Their own 44-yard line. McCracken is going to hit his favorite target, Schumacher, on the slant for a very big gain. Nice catch there. Down to the 35-yard line of Unionville. Here, Kennett place kicker Shea Barker connects on the 39-yard field goal to make it 18-7 Blue Demons.
Shame there's Barker. Same name sounds familiar, Coach.
I think it's the same family as the Penn State kicker.
Yeah, and he had a monster day. He was just voted Freshman of the Week in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Once again, we're going to see the Kennett defense come up big. McLaughlin back
This
to
is Kennett's offense.
Oh, this is
Ran a jet sweep
Joe
to
Lex-
number 3.
Yeah, Joe Lex Carabal takes the jet sweep for a 10-yard touchdown, and Kennett is up 25-7.
Kennett has the ball again on the
Yeah.
Unionville 40-yard line. Looks like they're looking to go in.
Yeah, McCracken is going to find Rich deep down the middle on his 3rd and 10 play for a 38-yard gain down at the Unionville 2-yard line. Nice throw.
Wow.
The left-hander. McCracken here is going to put the game away with the quarterback sneak. And Kennett is going to win the battle for Route 82, 32-15 for the 3rd win in a row for the Blue Demons.
Wow. Big win for Kennett. Puts them in the driver's seat, I would think, to win the
Chesmont South.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it looks like they're going to be a playoff team too, Coach. But that wasn't the biggest upset of the night. Bishop Shanahan is going to show to Chesmont this will not be an easy win for the Whippets at Downingtown West. We're going to see Anthony Aquila throw a great go route to Aiden Civitella down the Eagles sideline for a 30-yard gain.
Yeah, he just beat him.
Civitella's a nice player. And then we're going to see Shanahan here. In the gun is Aquila. He's going to give to Julian Haylock, and he goes 14 yards to give Shanahan a 7-2 lead. West had scored on a safety earlier in the period. But the Whippets respond as Cole Bricker climbs the pocket and hits J.D. Weller on the out and up for a 24-yard score, and West takes an 8-7 lead. Weller's his favorite receiver, big 6'5" kid. Nice catch there. He goes up and gets it. But here comes Shanahan. Aquila's going to hit Nate Bracken in the flat as the Whippets' Darian Smith mistimes the interception attempt. Bracken is off to the races. Going 70 yards for the TD. 14-8 Shanahan at this point.
It's a huge play.
Huge play there, yeah. Looked like it was going to be picked, but he mistimed his jump. Okay, West with the ball again at their own 43-yard line. And they punch right back here as Tommy Miller is going to sprint 50 yards on the counter. Miller becoming the big ball carrier for the Whippets the last 2 games.
I watched him zigzag back and forth here.
Yeah. Right here, Bricker is going to finish the drive running the quarterback power. And once again, Downingtown West takes a 15-14 lead over Shanahan. Yeah, back and forth game. 6 lead changes in this game. And Shanahan's going to take it right back as Aquila runs the quarterback counter for a 4-yard touchdown. 21-15 Shanahan.
This is 4th quarter action.
Yeah. But here comes West again. They're deep in Shanahan territory. And another one of the stable of running backs the Whippets can throw at you, Mike Tarashi, puts the Whippets in front with a 12-yard score, makes it 22-21 West. About 10 and a half minutes left in the game here at this point. Shanahan will not be denied on the night. They converted 4 fourth downs on this drive alone. A 9-minute drive, 20-play drive. Here, Aquila keeps it on 4th and 1 for the first down. They just gained more and more confidence as the game went on, Coach.
Yeah, I can see that.
Here's a 4th and 5 situation. And Aquila's going to scramble in the pocket, and he finds Civitella. Wait till you see this catch for the first down.
Great throw. He really threads the needle here.
Yeah, and he goes up and gets it. This play here shows that it just might be Shanahan's night. Aquila rolls right on a 4th and 4 and throws back late over the middle to Haylock, who makes a great catch.
No, this is a quarterback sneak that gets him another first down, one of the 4 that you were referring to.
Oh, okay.
And then, this is the one that they punch in.
Yeah, they do. They punch it in here with Aquila.
Probably another quarterback power. Yep, absolutely. The play of the night. And probably Shanahan goes on the win, 28-22, and probably be a good time to announce now that Anthony Aquila is one of our co-players of the week for the ChesCo Gridiron Insiders. So congratulations to Anthony, congratulations to Paul Myers, and congratulations to Bishop Shanahan on handing Downingtown West their first loss of the year, 28-22.
Rustin and Great Valley action coming up. We pick it up first quarter action. 3rd and 7. We see Chase Hatton takes the buck sweep handoff, cuts it back against the grain, and goes 13 yards untouched. Rustin up 7-0 early. Okay, Great Valley's first drive ends up with them punting to Hatton, and he fields it at the 50 and takes it all the way to the 29-yard line. Hatton is one of the most exciting players in the district, Coach.
Without a doubt.
He's the Ronnie Lott in the secondary, and on offense, he makes play after play after play. Rustin back in business here. First down play is a waggle. Quarterback David McLean, you're going to see here, hits the wing. Ryan Loper on a backside post. And just like that, Rustin is up 14-0.
I don't know if you get more open than that,
yeah.
Pete.
Yeah, Great Valley had trouble on the night. Next Great Valley possession, 3rd and 5. You're going to see Rustin blitzes right into this run, and Josh Coloni and Pat Maychak blow up the run and blow this play completely up. Rustin attacking again deep in Great Valley territory. Ryan Loper takes the handoff on a power to the house, and look who was playing wide receiver blocking the corner in the end zone. Yeah, it's great to see that downfield.
Winners know what it takes, and they do everything for their team.
Okay, Great Valley, next possession, down 21-0. They got to try to get something going here, and this jet sweep is blown up by Pat Maychak again, and 27, Khalif Cunningham. Yeah, just nowhere to go. Great Valley had 45 yards of offense on the night.
And in saying that, I think also, so now we're in the second quarter action.
Comes another buck sweep.
Rustin scored on their first 6 possessions of the game, all touchdowns.
Yeah, Chase Hatton's going to put his foot in the ground and just takes it 37 yards untouched again for another score, and it's 28-0 Rustin. Rustin will go on to win 49-0 over Great Valley, and they look really impressive. Okay, Episcopal Academy.
In Newtown Square.
To take on Malvern Prep, Interact League opener. Episcopal first series, and quarterback Brody Garrison throws an interception to Malvern's inside linebacker Ben Kempton. Several plays later, Malvern quarterback Jackson Melconian and running back Zeke Bates miscommunicate and fumble a zone read, and Episcopal recovers, stopping the Malvern drive.
Yeah, they mishandled the mesh. I don't know if it was because both teams had a week off to get ready, but there's turnovers, 2 turnovers for each team the first 4 possessions of the game.
Yeah, the next Malvern series, we're going to see the Wildcat package with Andrew Pellicata gives a jet sweep to Dan Riley, who takes it 46 yards to the Episcopal 9. On the next play, Jake Bauer Hey, cost one up here, and EA turns Malvern over for the second time in the first quarter. Still scoreless.
Might be one of Bauer's only mistakes on the year.
Yeah, you don't see that from
He's
him.
had an unbelievable year.
So Episcopal has the ball third down on their 4-yard line, and you guessed it, the fourth turnover between
both teams,
and leads to the first score of the game.
Guess who picked it up?
Jake Bauer.
Malvern very opportunistic on turnovers this evening.
Yeah, so it's 7-0 Malvern. Into the second quarter, and Malvern explodes. Pelicata takes a jet sweep, cuts it back, and goes 45 yards all the way down to the Churchman 12-yard line. Boy, he's a really swift player.
Yeah, there's a reason you're an MVP of the Interact when you're a junior. You're obviously a really good player.
Yeah, great baseball player, too.
Yeah, you don't have to tell me.
3 plays later, Bauer powers in from a yard out, and the Friars are up 14-0.
I mean, with that play and the way Malvern runs it, it's like the Eagles running the push-tush, right? I mean, that's going to get in.
Okay, the next Episcopal series, speed option pitch from Brady Garrison is mishandled and recovered by my vote for the Interact MVP, Jake Bauer.
Yep.
He's everywhere, Coach.
He really is.
And on the very next play, you're going to see Jackson Melconian hit P.J. Holmes on a 22-yard slant. Malvern is starting to roll, 21-0 at this point. Melconian had a big night, and you're going to see right here back-to-back bombs by Melconian to Holmes, and then to Ben Kempton. And Malvern takes a commanding 27-0 lead.
Here's
Kempton's catch.
They love to attack the post. That's there's all verts, Kempton right down the seam, and that's going to be a touchdown.
And Malvern cruises to a 41-0 victory. Next week, they will have a showdown with the Haverford School in our game of the week.
Yep. Looking forward to being there, and I believe I will have all access to Malvern before, during, and after the game. So look forward to doing that. Thanks to Coach Dave Guerrera.
And our last highlight of the night, we got the Westchester rivalry. The Warriors of Henderson visit Westchester East. And it was our Gridiron Insiders game of the week. Let's pick up the action with 5:54 in the first period, and the Vikings have a 3rd and 12, and they run a little trap that gets blown up by Sam Killeran and Jake Fasili for Henderson.
Yeah, nice play there. It's hard-hitting action all night, Pete.
Oh, yeah, two bitter rivalries. Henderson takes over on downs, and Tyler Doole blows up his own read right here. Big play by Doole. Nice player. Hard-hitting action early on in this one, Coach. But finally, with 23 seconds left in the quarter, Brady Collins takes a speed option pitch, 53 yards to the house.
Yeah, I guess Henderson, when looking at game film, they really like this play against Westchester East. I don't know if somebody else ran it against them, but they ran it 4 or 5 times, that obviously being the most effective.
Got some excellent blocking there by Alejandro Iturbe and Matt Wagner on the edge, 7-0 Henderson. We're in second quarter action now. Quarterback Nate DeRosa for the Vikings, senior 3-year starter, keeps his own read, run around the edge for 8 yards and a Viking touchdown, and this ties it up at 7-7.
Yeah, and talking to Coach O'Neill after the game, he said there was just a miscommunication there amongst the players. I think they had 2 guys in the same gap, but, hats off to Westchester East for running successful plays.
Okay, after both teams trade turnovers, DeRosa unleashes this 40-yard bomb to Landon Goodwin, and Westchester East is knocking on the Warriors' door at the 30-yard line.
Hey, just throw it out there and let him go get it.
Yeah, and he got it. 5 plays later in the drive, the Vikings punch it in from 5 yards out and take a 13-7 lead into halftime. Westchester East banged up, and they played hard.
Yeah, they did. I mean, great first half game, 13-7.
Yeah, but it's all Vikings from there. DeRosa, right here, you're going to see in the third period, escapes the pocket. We're going to watch him coming up here. He's in the gun.
Yeah, this might have been the play of the game. By the way, Nate DeRosa also will be named the co-player of the week for Gridiron Insiders.
Yeah, he finds Carl Komorowski on a 25-yard scoring strike over the middle. Great play by DeRosa. Vikes convert the 2-point conversion, and it's 21-7 East. Now, Henderson's going to try to answer, but the 2nd and 10 shovel pass to Brady Collins intercepted by number 88 for the Vikings, James Kornicki. That's a really nice play.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's almost like they were expecting it a little bit.
Yeah. It looked like they had that diagnosed. Westchester East driving on the Warrior 11, and this time DeRosa pulls the zone read and hits Chase Salusi on the bubble for the TD.
It's a great read here. He pulls it. There's a throw.
Yeah. Missed tackles plagued Henderson the entire second half. Defensive coordinator Harry O'Neill wasn't happy in the least. I can tell you that, Coach.
No, I was in the box with them, and if you can't tackle, you're going to be in trouble, especially in these rivalry games.
Yeah, and turnovers also plagued Henderson all night. Here's another one of them. They had 5 on the evening, and Nate Polsgrove returns this interception to the Henderson 33-yard line.
Yeah, I don't know too many teams that can survive 5 turnovers.
Yeah, Henderson defense here holds the Vikings out of the end.
Yep. Yeah, held them out.
Held them out of the end zone. And on the very next play, you're going to see Brady Collins is dragged down in the end zone for the safety. And Westchester East and head coach Scott Stephen goes on to win this rivalry game 37-13. Congratulations to the Westchester East Vikings. Hi, ChesCo Gridiron Insider fans. We're here with Dave Guerrera, very successful coach of Malvern Prep football. And we're going to talk to him about his upcoming game with Haverford School. But first, let's hear something from PA Rebels.
If you're looking for a travel baseball program that is competitive but focuses on player development, please check out the PA Rebels program out of Westchester, Pennsylvania. Their development program has led to over 45 players gain college baseball opportunities over the past 4 years.
Coach, good to see you.
Good to see you too, Pete.
I wanted to ask you something. You guys play probably the toughest non-league schedule in the state. Do you do it to get ready for the Interact, or do you do it like for that reason and because like Malvern Prep just does that because it's such a great program?
No, it's a good question. I think primarily it is for us to get ready for the Interact. The Interact year in and year out is some of the best football in the state. And the other reason is that we want to continue to build this program, and take it to higher and higher levels the best we can. And I feel like the only way to do that is to really challenge yourself, in Jersey, Maryland, Pennsylvania.
Right.
So it's kind of twofold, but I would say the primary reason is for us to get ready for the Interact.
Okay. Well, let me ask you something about your team. Every team has a personality, and I know your defense has been great the last 3 weeks. What's the personality of this Friar team, Coach?
It's funny you say that because I think we, over the first 3 weeks of the season, we're trying to figure out what that personality was or what our identity was, especially offensively. And I think what we've kind of, found out over the last 3 weeks is that, we want to play, fast. We want to be physical. And we really we want to play tough, right? We just want that. When you play Malvern Prep, we want it to be like, hey, man, there's 4 quarters. It's going to be a heavyweight fight. It's going to be a tough game, and Malvern's not going to quit. And if you're down, we've been down 21-3. We've been down 17-0, and, with 8 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, what I think our identity or who we are is we're just a team that we want to play physical. We want to play tough, but, we won't quit, in any game. So that's what I think we want to be.
Okay, well, you got the big one coming up with Haverford School, which is our ChesCo Gridiron Insiders Game of the Week. A lot of people are saying they're the biggest challenge to Malvern Prep. What problems do they present, Coach?
So I think offensively, they have a really good offensive line. Right tackle, left tackle is going to Stanford, Josh Williams. Left guard Barr is going to West Virginia. They have 2 really good twins on the inside who both have offers. And then they have a really long tackle on the other side. So they are a really good offensive line. They have a good hybrid tight end, Gallagher, who can do a lot of different things, and then they have a couple shifty backs and a couple receivers that can hurt you on offense. When they get separation, they're good players. On defense, are always strong. I think when I think of Haverford School, I think of really sound defensively, really fast to the ball, physical, and just smart. Sound. So I think that they, I would say mirror us in a lot of ways. Wanting to play physical, wanting to play tough. So it's definitely going to be a big challenge for us.
Well, speaking of physical, Coach, we watch the highlights every week here on ChesCo Gridiron Insiders. Talk about Jake Bauer a little bit. I mean, he just jumps off the screen on defense.
Yeah, Jake's unbelievable. I mean, against Gonzaga, Jake had 14 tackles in that game, and that was a game where I think he popped. Where a lot of people, I would say, noticed him a little bit more. But throughout the year this year, he's just been really solid. He's a sideline to sideline guy, and when he hits you, the whole stadium knows. He delivers unbelievable impact, but he's done a really good job of improving since his sophomore year of his pass coverage, getting into his spots. So he's been unbelievable. He's all over the field, and he is, in the truest sense of the word, he's a sideline to sideline linebacker.
Coach, I wanted to ask you, the Interact is a very big thing. I've covered a lot of Malvern Prep teams over the years. I know the intensity of those games. Down the road, could you ever see a scenario where the Interact might join the PIAA?
I mean, it's a question that we hear a lot. I mean, me personally, and yes, I mean, I would love to be able to, continue playing past the second Saturday in November. Okay. But our league is one of the oldest leagues in the country, and there has been some talks in years past about it, but you can never really get all the schools on board, to do it. Now, I do think that when I know there's some talk about trying to split up, non-public and public into two different divisions. I mean, I would love to be able to enter into those conversations about how Malvern and the Interact could get into them. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, we're 100% would love to be, playing in December,
practice it on Thanksgiving morning. Yeah.
That would be amazing. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, Coach, thank you for your time. You do an excellent job at Malvern Prep, and you guys play football the right way. And good luck against Haverford School.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me.
Yeah, it's been our pleasure, Coach.
Pete interviewing Coach Dave Guerrera there. Now we will head to Malvern's defense, and Coach Wolf and Coach Mitten will take a look at the defensive breakdown.
All right, so this first clip is against Del Barton. And before we get to the star player of Malvern's defense, talk about a couple supporting players who are actually really good players. I'd love to have either one of these guys myself. Number 15 is the safety. His name again?
Andrew Pochada.
Andrew Pochada. And number 5 is a corner. We got a little slip screen out here,
Zane
Coach.
Johnson is the corner.
Zane Johnson is the corner. Coach, you just want to walk through what's going on here?
Well, I tell you, the thing that I like right off the bat is Malvern gets a push up front. They reestablish the line of scrimmage, and this may have been some kind of read, and there is no read when you got looks like 6-7 white shirts in your backfield. You are unloading the ball and getting it out as fast as you can.
And then Pochetta does a really nice job of running the alley, getting downhill. Johnson fights off the block really nice, and they combine on this tackle, which is a really, really good play.
And see, they're trying to strip the ball there too, which is totally indicative of what their defense does. It's a 4-3, and they've already caused 12 turnovers this year.
There you go. Get the ball out. Get the ball out.
Come out.
Next clip, we'll look at the big guy in the middle here, Jake or Jack?
Jake Bauer.
Jake Bauer. Jake Bauer, middle linebacker here. We've talked about him a number of times on the highlights. Coach Mitten, you're an old defensive coach. Take it away.
Wow. love to have a guy like this. Boy, he can cover ground. You can keep your defense nice and simple and watch him make plays all over the field.
So he's a middle linebacker, the Mike linebacker. We got a little middle screen here. And you just see right now you got three linemen on one linebacker and a guy with the ball. So right now, this should be a win for the offense. I mean, at least one of those three linemen should be able to get a piece of.
And by the way, that's DC National Power Gonzaga too. It's not like
it's not the Little Sisters of the Poor. So you got three really good linemen coming out here. Slip screen is set up perfectly. And you can just see Bauer just reads it, beats the lineman past the spot, and makes an unassisted tackle.
Yeah, great instincts, great technique.
This play here, Coach, we're a little in awe of this play. So we're going to set it up here. What it is, it's basically you got a pick. You got Bauer in the middle here, and this kid's going to try to set a pick for Ballard on Bauer, and you slip it out to the linebacker or to the running back. Linebacker Bauer has to get out of here and cover him, and I'll let Coach Minton finish it up.
He's got no business making this play. Because he is getting picked and he actually goes underneath. I mean, that's really not the perfect technique for that play. But he is fast enough to catch a running back. Look, he is at a huge disadvantage right there. Humongous disadvantage. Goes underneath the block and watch him run the guy down. And finish the tackle. Yeah, that is a big-time play right there.
And then I think this is the very next play on the drive. They end the drive. There's Bauer in the middle again. And it's just a three-man route, 3 go balls into the middle of the end zone. This number 2 here is trying to, bend behind Bauer. But Bauer gets enough depth on his drop. Quarterback still can't get over his head. And one thing we didn't really notice, but the quarterback's a little bit under duress here.
Absolutely.
Good pass rush by Malvern. So he doesn't have a clean pocket to throw from. So he's got to hurry the process up, and Bauer's right there to make the play. So there's your do-it-all middle linebacker, Jake Bauer.
Can I just ask you guys real quick? I mean, I know he's going to go to attend the Naval Academy, I believe, coming up next year. But I mean, in watching film that we've seen him play this year, can he be a Power 5 linebacker?
Stopwatch. He looks like the plays that he is making looks like he doesn't just have the instincts and the size and that kind of stuff, but he has the speed. And for those guys, those Power 5 guys, it's all about stopwatch. How fast is he? And he looks in these circumstances like he has the speed to go and make those plays.
Are we talking
side.
Dan Connor here? Or he doesn't have the size of Dan Connor, but
he may not be as big, but again, it's a different era. I remember Dan Connor was, first and second down run stuffer. This kid can play 3 downs. Last clip here, just again, he's dropping in.
Close and make the tackle.
I mean, just the closing speed is pretty remarkable because right now, bang.
Yeah, that's
if he doesn't make that play, that kid could still be running.
That's a running back.
All right, turn it over to EJ here. We'll take a look at the Malvern offense.
All right, let's take a look at Malvern's offense. So if I'm a defensive coordinator in the Interac, the first thing I need to do is stop Malvern's running game, right? So they have Lightning and Thunder. This is Lightning, Chris Smith. And as you can see, I mean, he's capable of, taking it to the house. I know he gets knocked out of bounds here, but he's fast. And then they have Thunder. Okay, so we have Zeke here. Zeke, number 26, just running over people, right? So now, all right, I got a handle on Malvern's running game. Now I got to look at their wildcat attack. And sure enough, MVP of last year, Andrew Pellicciati, he's running quarterback power. Now we got a great view against Gonzaga, right? This is one of the game-winning drives that Malvern puts together. Faking the jet, and here we go again. All right, and now they got the throwing game. So I'm faking the jet to Pellicciati. And Malvern likes to take shots down the middle of the field, right? They're going to run posts. They're going to run seams. Okay, and this is by Jackson Melkonian, who is Melkonian, my fault, who just committed to play baseball at Vanderbilt, not next year, but the year after, right? There is a, what did you guys call that earlier? The
Stalk and go.
Stalk and go, right? So it looks like Pellicciata is going to block, and they're running a screen, and then he's gone. And with his speed, when I say he's gone, I mean he's gone. All right, and this was just this past week. Here comes another. You're trying to defend the Wildcat, and they're running jet sweep, and that's Jack Riley taking it down inside the EA 5-yard line. Here comes another picture of the Wildcat. Only this time I think you're going to see counter. So you think you're running quarterback power, and now it's fake jet and quarterback counter. All right. And now you got to worry about him coming and running off the jet too. All right. So Jackson Melkonian throwing deep balls down the middle of the field. And then you got Pellicciata running Wildcat quarterback and also coming out of the slot and running jet sweep. And they're dangerous. They're just flat out dangerous. And then here comes, what is this? Slant.
Just posting it out.
Yep. Take your pick, right? Either side. They ran it to both sides. And then here comes all verts. 5 of them, right?
Somebody matched up on a linebacker.
And they're not complicated. It's not complicated schematically, but with the talent that Malvern has, the old keep it simple, stupid, right? Just give the ball to your guys and let them go crazy.
All right, so that's it for us breaking down Malvern. We'll head to the final predictions of Week 8. Thanks for joining us. All right. Wow, watching those Malvern breakdowns, right, you can really see why they're having such a successful season. So let's go into our Week 8 predictions on picks. Last week was a tough week, for everybody involved. Our special celebrity guest picker didn't fare as well as the week before. Coach Mitten, being the Westchester guy coming in, knowing a lot about Westchester, goes 2-4, but we still invited him back, so hopefully he'll do better this week. Wolfie, Coach Tom Wolf he goes 4-2. Really should have been 5-1 because he was really saying, man, he really thought Shanahan was going to be able to put points up on Downingtown West. Unfortunately, he wouldn't convey what he knew or how he knew that would happen, but he didn't pick it anyway, so he is now
half a point.
57, all right, and a half, and 17 and a half. Pete, struggled a little bit. He goes 2-4 on the week, 55-20. Nate, also 2-4. These paper guys, man. 18-11, and myself, I still am barely holding a lead over Coach Wolf. I'm a little nervous leading into this week, but 58-17. But here we go. All right, let's take a look at Week 8 games. We have, let's look at Unionville at Sun Valley. I know Unionville lost to Kennett, and which was, really a tough game because I think if they would have won, they might have been able to solidify the South, but they didn't. We all like Unionville to, Pete, you like to say it, crush, hammer? What
they'll hammer Sun Valley.
Hammer Sun Valley. They're going to hammer Sun Valley. Good job, Pete. All right. Westchester East at Rustin. Big win last week for the Vikings, in the rivalry game against Westchester Henderson. Unfortunately, they have to go to Rustin this week, and they'll play the Fighting Saints. I like the Fighting Saints, and so does everyone else here. So there you go there. All right, so let's take a look at some of the other games. We have Avon Grove at Kennett. Kennett, huge win. They're really playing their best football now, leading into the last 2 weeks of the season. I'd expect they're going to be a playoff team, right?
Yeah.
So I'm I'm going to take Kennett. It's, as much fun as I've had with Avon Grove and, being able to do a lot with them. Kennett's clearly the better team right now. Pete?
I like Kennett. They got healthy and they got good.
They're rolling.
They got healthy 3 weeks ago and they got 3 wins in a row. I think they make it 4.
Coach Wolf?
Well, as the only one that picked them last week, I'm going to roll with them again this week. Again, they got everybody healthy. They got a nice quarterback's doing a real nice job. McCracken, he's only a sophomore, and he's throwing the ball well, and they got a good running game. Kennett.
Coach Minton?
I'm going to have to go with Kennett, too. They made a believer out of me last week going down to that Longhorn Corral and getting a big win.
Yeah. And Nate?
Yeah, I got a first chance to see Kennett last week. Obviously very impressive. Defense is playing really well this week. It would just be a waste to lose to Avon Grove now. They got to win this one and get that division title. I'm going to go with the Blue Demons.
Yeah, I'm thinking Avon Grove still will be with their impressive but backup quarterback, the sophomore, who looked pretty good last week. All right, Downingtown East at Shanahan. Wow, talk about upsets, right? Shanahan goes into Kottmeyer, upsets Downingtown West on a Thursday night, right? So, Nate, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, kind of shocked the county, I guess you could say, last week. Great job by Bishop Shanahan. They only have 1 win ever against Downingtown East, and they've never beat East and West in the same year, so going for a little history this week. I think they definitely have the talent to do it, but I'm going to go with Downingtown East to pull off a close one because I think they needed a little bit more for the playoffs.
Okay. Let's see. Mitt, what do you got?
Always tough to get high school kids up 2 weeks in a row.
Yes.
So I'm going to say that it's going to be too tall of an order for Shanahan to get up and to get both Downingtowns in consecutive weeks. So I'm going Downingtown East.
Okay. I'm not worried about the layoff and the rust at all? Going into Shanahan? No.
No. Coach Maddow will have them
Ready to go.
lined up and ready to go.
All right. Do we even really have to talk to Coach Wolf?
I think Downingtown East, they didn't get a chance to play last week, so they're chomping at the bit. They all went to the whole team, I think, was at that Shanahan West game, so they saw firsthand what Shanahan could do. So they're going to be ready for him. They're not going to take him lightly. I think the Cougars win pretty easily here.
Ooh, Pete.
I think Shanahan's going to do it again. I don't know why, but
There he is.
There it is.
I just
Good.
I wanted to pick them last week. I didn't have the guts, so I'm going to double down here and go for Shanahan over Downingtown East.
Yeah, I'm a little bit worried about the layoff, but I am more concerned with what Coach Mitten said. And being a coach, you're playing teams like that. It is tough to get up 2 weeks in a row, especially after an emotional win. So I will go with Downingtown East as well, and it is at Shanahan. So that'll be. That's going to be a really fun game to see. All right, we have Coatesville at Downingtown West. Unfortunately, after the postponement the cancellation of the game last week. Let's see, Nate, what do you got?
Yeah, it's a tough spot for Coatesville. Obviously, just an emotional week. In Downingtown West, going to be plenty cranky coming off that loss against Bishop Shanahan. Just a tough spot for Coatesville. I think West played really good defense even last week against Shanahan. When you look at the yardage, just too many penalties. I think they get rid of some of those penalties and they control the game enough to beat Coatesville. So I'm going to go with the Whippets.
All right, Mitt.
I think the same thing that I was thinking about Shanahan, only in reverse. After a team comes off a tough loss, they always seem to rally, always seem to get back together and play some of their best football, and I'm going to bet that West is going to do it this week against Coatesville.
All right, Coach Wolf.
I'm going to ride the same train of thought. I think Downingtown West is going to regroup. Coatesville hasn't played anybody. The teams that they have played, they lost to. I think West is a better team, and I think they can come back and handle Coatesville.
Okay. I picked against Coatesville last week. The game wasn't played. I've heard rumblings that people were not happy that I picked against the Red Raiders last week. So that makes me nervous a little bit. So therefore, I'm going to go with the Whippets again this week. Okay, and it's really the same logic there. I do think they will be rusty coming out of that. It's tough not to play 2 weeks in a row. I do think West is going to be upset, and it's at Kottmeyer. But here's an interesting stat I got from a couple members of the staff, actually, that I believe over the past 2 years, when Coatesville has played a playoff team in 6A or a big game, so it's Downingtown East, Downingtown West, who else? Perkiomen Valley, right? And then Garnet Valley. Last year, Central Dauphin, 0-6. 0-6. So I think it, unfortunately, is going to be 0-7. Pete.
I like Coatesville. I got to make up ground on you guys, so I have to try to.
That's your reasoning?
Yeah, I have to try to do what I have to do. I think Ortega's going to run the football with Big Nasir Jordan, and I like West as a football team, and I think they're going to come back angry, as Coach Wolf and Coach Mitten and yourself said, and Nate. But I don't know. I like Coatesville.
Okay. I mean, if they stick to running the ball, I think it keeps them in the game. You just got to worry about sacks, penalties.
Well, Downingtown West had 10 penalties for 85 yards last week. So they have to clean that up also.
So maybe after I go to the Malvern game, which is the game of this week, I can head over to Kottmeyer and catch the fourth quarter, because it'll still be going on if both teams commit 10 or more penalties.
Yeah.
All right. Henderson at Great Valley. All right. I'll start off. Henderson was not impressive last week, at least in the second half. A lot of missed tackles, 5 turnovers. You're not going to win many high school games that way, especially against your rival. But I do think if Henderson, can play better, as we felt like they played the 2 weeks prior, and they're coming off a Great Valley team that's absolutely reeling right now, just looking for an identity. So I will take Henderson. What do you got, Pete?
I'm going to take Great Valley in this one because Henderson's buried me 3 out of the last 4 weeks. They have the best player on the field in Brady Collins, but they didn't give him the ball a lot against Westchester East. So if they continue to do that, I think Great Valley is going to get the win at home.
Coach Wolf.
Well, Coach Mitten and I were just talking about it. Run the ball. There's nothing wrong with running the ball. And Westchester Henderson didn't do that last week. Hopefully they see what happens when they do run the ball, and they do have Brady Collins, who's one of the better runners in the county. So I'm counting on Coach Ellis to listen to our show, take our advice, and run the ball. And I'm going to take Westchester Henderson.
All right. I know Mitt has Great Valley, so we'll move on to Mitt.
A little homecoming for Coach Ellis going back over to Great Valley.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And I think the Warriors get it figured out and get a win over there at Valley Stadium.
All right. Nate.
Yeah, I think just Great Valley is just really in a tough spot. So many injuries this year under their third quarterback. You look at their schedule; they beat Oxford to week 1, and just look at how both of those seasons have kind of gone opposite directions since that day. I think Henderson, they just they got to get this one just to salvage their season a little bit. I think Collins goes off and they get the win.
Okay. Reading and Oxford. So I think this is like one of the first times these teams ever met. I don't know that to be true, but, Pete just clarified it, so I was right. Nate.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Oxford. I mean, they're hot. Hornets have a shot to clinch their first winning season since 2013. I'm sure they know that. Obviously they're playing. They might be playing for a home playoff game if they can keep it up. So obviously not a division game, but they want to keep that momentum going into that final week against Kennett. So I'm going to go with the Hornets.
Okay, Mitt.
A little torn here. So I'm going to go with the X Factor. I'm an old District 3 guy. Coached up at District 3 for a long time. But that's a long bus ride. All the way from Reading, all the way down there to Oxford, on the grass field.
Bingo.
And I think the Hornets get the win, playing for something.
Let's see. Coach Wolf.
Oxford.
I like it. All right. Pete.
I like Oxford. I mean, their head coach, Mike Means, is a tough guy, and his kids play with a little chip on his shoulder. Long bus ride from Reading, grass field, Oxford, possibly getting a home playoff game. I like the Hornets.
Yeah, but you're still behind Holmes.
I know. I'm looking for three lightning bolts this week.
Yeah, I like Oxford. I was talking to Coach Means after the game of last week. He really pumped up. Yeah, I love the fact that if they win, pretty much we think they're in the playoffs, which is awesome. They solidify a winning season. And you know what? This is going to sound crazy. Playing on grass is huge, right? When you've been playing on turf all year and you're supposedly a fast team and you come down and you start playing on grass, it makes a huge difference. So I do like Oxford as well.
Reading has turf. Reading plays at Albright College, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I don't know how much you can call that grass down at Oxford at this time of year.
So just flat out dirt and mud.
Grass,
All right. Finally, the game of the week. Hereford School at Malvern. Both teams are 1-0. Chestnut Hill is also the other undefeated team in the Interac. I think Hereford School came off an impressive win against Germantown Academy last week. I'll kick it off. I do like Malvern Prep to win at home Friday night under the lights. There's just too much. That defense, as we've said in our breakdowns, 12 turnovers this year. That's forced 12 turnovers. Just like their speed and their skill. And I think Hereford School, even though they have two Division I linemen, rumor has it they have a tough time getting to the second level. And if you're not getting to the second level against Malvern, Jake Bauer, you're in huge trouble. So I will take Malvern. Pete?
Malvern.
Coach Wolf?
I love Malvern's front seven. They got a great D line. That line, who's the middle linebacker? Bauer.
Jake Bauer.
Yeah.
Bauer. He's a dude.
I think he's all state.
Yeah. He's a sideline to sideline linebacker, and I like Malvern here.
Coach Mitt?
I'll go Malvern.
There you go. And Nate, are you allowed to pick the game since you're covering it on Friday or no?
Well, I don't have a very good track record. I keep picking wrong, and then they tell me about it afterwards. So that's always nice of the kids. But I'm going to go Malvern. I like the way they play Interac football. But they have such a tough non-league schedule. But when it comes down to business, they just run the ball. They don't throw the ball as much. They play great defense. They just beat you the old-fashioned way. I think Malvern's gonna do that, and we'll put the momentum in for the rest of the year to get that league title.
Sounds good. So that'll be back-to-back league titles. Just to show everybody that I know people think that I am biased. I just remembered, which is crazy. I am a Hereford School grad, so not only did I pick against Coatesville, I also picked against my own alma mater. So that's our show for Week 8. Stay tuned, or make sure you join us next week. We have some wild special guests willing to join us as we do our last show. So we'll see you next week. Make sure you enjoy the games. Take care, everyone.